Welcome everyone. How's it going? Let me know if my audio is coming in okay. I see Sanju's here, Gaj, Bebe, Omar, Paul, Andy. Yeah, Andy, good. Andy says Tesla will become the biggest company in the world. Yeah, so that's the whole rumor going around Twitter today. Elon Musk tweeted that in a few months Tesla could be as big as Apple. Juan Power. Yeah, guys, I couldn't do the last hour of trading. By the way, I got my citrus, the good luck citrus, if you know. Hey, Julia, how's it going? Um, yeah, so I couldn't do the last hour today because there's some construction still going on, so you might hear some banging. But I was like, let's just do this now. I think we need the good juju at the moment. Um, yeah, let me know if my audio is coming in. By the way, type in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. I want to know how diverse our viewership is at the moment. So yeah, Tesla's at $615. That's really where our and you can see it's pretty much gravitated towards there anyways. Hey DJ, Paul's in the UK. Hey J Billa. Okay, got it. You're JH. At Chia, anything below 600 today from Malaysia. 600 is gonna be tough. That's kind of, I hope not. I hope not. We'll talk about the indices today. Tesla hit hard today. Yeah, Tesla's hit hard. Indices are up, which we're going to talk about in a second here. Indianapolis, nice. Hey, a fellow neighbor, Andrew from Vancouver. Nice, welcome. Baybase's audio is wonderful. Listen from Tampa. Jealous. Thanks, Baby. David from Cali. So here's the thing. Indices are green, and we're going to go in the market watch, and I'm going to show you guys here. Indices are green, which is laughable at the moment. But if I pull up, for example, this is the S&P 500 right here. This is the S&P 500. Let me just get over. This is how the index looks. West Virginia, Los Angeles, Willie from Ottawa. Nice. So indices are green. Really what's red is Amazon's red. Apple's a little bit red to flat. Tesla is really red. Probably the most red company other than some media companies that like Fox and Viacom and Discovery, and really some utilities are flat-ish. Some banks are flat. But if we go into what we care about, which is all the tech companies, the Nasdaq 100. The Nasdaq 100 is green, mostly because of Microsoft being green, which is one of the biggest holdings in the Nasdaq. Apple being flat-ish, it's only 20 basis points down. Goog and Google, they're both here, voting class and non-voting class. And then Tesla is red, Baidu is red. Obviously, all the Chinese stocks, if you guys hold any Chinese stocks, you know what I'm talking about. Chinese stocks have gotten hit hard because of their whole auditing news that has come out that they're gonna actually be delisted if they don't consider auditing the American way. April is coming, says Zuda. Yes, April is coming. I hope that good juju is right. London from Sanju. Welcome, Sanju. A lot of Discord friends in here. Daniel Harris from Ardmore, Oklahoma. Nice. Cover calls are printing today, but I won't hold them long. Good idea, Daniel. Yeah, implied volatility is not very high, so any any big pump up in a move, honestly, either way, should pump up the calls. Stock market is closed on the weekend. Yep, absolutely. So let me just take a look here. So there's a lot of FUD around FSD. Yeah, that's sad to see. I've got Twitter pulled up here as well, but let's take a look. So this morning, Elon Musk, I'm not sure if he deleted it already. This morning I saw, so whole Mars catalog, pardon me, sorry. Whole Mars catalog tweeted, guys, I'm telling you, FSD is the biggest thing ever. I'm super bullish on this. Nobody gets it. This is a big deal. Tesla's going to be bigger than Apple. To which Elon Musk replied, I think there is a greater than 0% chance Tesla could become the greatest company, or could become the biggest company in the world. Now, someone replied to this right here saying, love the direction of that arrow, alluding to the greater than sign. To which Elon Musk did tweet, but he deleted it, saying probably in a few months. That's what he said. Probably in a few months. If you guys know, like Elon Musk, in at least in the recent history of his Twitter, hasn't actually deleted very many tweets. So that's I don't know if it's, if you want to say encouraging or you know what that is, but that's interesting that he says probably in a few months. So what's happening in a few months? Let's talk about catalysts. And I think Gary Black, who replied on here, has a list of catalysts pinned. So we're just going to use his for the time being. The Biden $7,500 EV credits coming up. This, like I said in last night's video, should be first week of April. I did, someone on Discord did say that March 31st is technically when it can be coming out. So keep that an eye. A semi-produced and delivered. This is big, but not really yet because the volume that they're not doing, right? Berlin opens, and this is big. Berlin opens, Model Y deliveries begin in Europe. Berlin is probably going to open in July. And correct me if I'm wrong. Berlin is looking more and more likely that it's gonna be opening in July, which is awesome. Austin opening, Cybertruck production delivery starts fourth quarter. This is big as well, but Austin, I don't expect honestly this year. I'm just gonna table it and say 2022 is really when I expect Austin to be open. You know, just padding it a little bit. Like even if they did finish it this year, probably be November, December. They might jump the gun a little bit, where they actually can start producing some vehicles in the factory before the whole factory's finished. So maybe that's and I think they just got their delivery of the Gigapress as well. So we'll see. FSD level 4 rollout by the end of the year. Model 2 launch in Europe by the end of the year. So the Model 2 launch, I wouldn't say this is Europe specific. I would actually say that the Model 2 unveiling this year, which should probably happen in September. In this video, we'll come back to it and see if it's right. But there's an auto show. If someone knows in the comments, let me know. But there's an auto show that happens in China every year that apparently, like the Chinese Shanghai factory is actually designing the Model 2, so it could come out then. Who knows? So that's big. Investment grade credit rating. So this has actually come out yesterday. Moody's has, well, sorry, it didn't actually make it investment grade yet, but they did come out with upping their credit rating. So Gary Black has a $960 price target within the next 6 to 12 months. In my opinion, what he's missing here is FSD subscription rollout. Elon Musk apparently, and I tried to find it on Whole Mars's Twitter, but apparently Elon Musk yesterday or the day before did a company-wide Tesla boardroom meeting call where he talked about really what's coming up. So, and on that call, and I think Homer's, you know, retweets a lot, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to find it. But apparently, I'll just tell you. But apparently, what happened was he said FSD subscription should be out in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. So take that with how you want. 6 weeks puts us really, let's say, if 1 week until April, and then end of April, so first week of May is really what FSD subscription is looking like. FSD subscription is big, I think, because it you know, it's just an additional source of revenue that's going to come really fast. So let's pull up Thinkorswim again. So Tesla's really pinned to the 616 line, to this floor or this support, if you want to call it, on the daily pivots. So our pivot point for the day, technically speaking, is 630, and we saw that once it broke that pivot point, it really sold off to the downside. Tesla's still down $24 on the day. The way that the options are shaping up as well, let's take a look here. The options, you know, obviously options expiration is today. Today's Friday. You can buy an at-the-money call for $3, $3.75. You can buy an at-the-money put. It looks like for $5.25. So it's a little bit put bias in terms of what you can buy. Downside bias is baked in. Now, if Tesla soars 20 points in the end of the day, these might be 10 baggers. You know, some of this stuff. Power hour will be decisive. Yeah, it's honestly what it looks like today, specifically on Tesla. You know, I can't talk about the market because the market's technically up today. Square is up, Netflix is up-ish, SPX is up, Apple's flat, Bingo's down, Neo is down big time, Jesus Christ. The Qs are up, obviously we know that, and Bitcoin is up 3%. So what it looks like today, to be honest, in Tesla stock at least, is it looks like pointed selling. A hedge fund or a fund or institution specifically chose out today as the day that they're going to dump shares. And it doesn't look like a lot of sellers are in. It just looks like there was that one seller between the time of 800 or 800 between 8 a.m. in the morning and 9 a.m. in the morning Pacific time. So a couple hours ago, that there was one consistent seller. But on top of that, what takes icing on the cake is that there's no buyers stepping in hand over fist, because really there's not enough catalysts up right now. I mean, it's not even April until Thursday of next week, so we got time, right? Tommy says at least the moving averages are being dragged down with the prices, for sure. If we check out the moving averages here in a second, let's check it out. So we have a conglomeration of a couple moving averages at around 669 and 660. Nice. So a couple of there. Our lower Bollinger Band is at 588. Our 200-day moving average is at $520 at the moment. So that's been climbing. Someone did make a point. Bond yields have been going up as well as of 9 a.m. Pacific. So I just find that whole, like, if that's true, and then explain why the Qs have been going up as well, right? I just, that's the way I look at it. If you look at the Qs, and I'll pull it up here so you guys can see, on the left chart is bond yields, on the middle one is SPX, but I'll change it to QQQ. Bond yields have been going up, and so has the NASDAQ. So I'm not sure how to think of that narrative anymore, to be honest. So, hey Tyler, how's it going? Holding the waves in Europe. Your out of the money call expiring April 1st is taking a hit. So April 1st, is that okay? So let's check out your call. What's your name? Tyler. Let's check out your call, Tyler Elrod. So 700 strike. And so that's you're paying $2.40 per contract at the moment. Your delta is 10, right? Or your delta is 9. So Tesla goes up $1, you make $9, right? Or you make 9 cents on that dollar. So you have 6 days to expiration. If we plot out, honestly, I'm just going to do this because I feel like doing it. Let's analyze this trade for a hot second here. Check out the risk profile. Let's delete the rest here. So if we look at that specific call, at expiration, obviously for you to break even, the stock is going to have to be past 700. I'm not sure why it's right here. Oh, because what you paid for it, right? Obviously. It's just not a good risk to reward. As a lotto, 100% fine. But you guys know my philosophy if you guys have been watching the channel. My philosophy on stuff that is expiring within the next week or two is you expect zero. Because, how many times have I bought something for $5 in terms of an options contract, usually calls? They go to 30 cents, they go to $1, and then next thing you know, they're at $8, right? So I bought them for $5, they went down to 30 cents, and they're now at, they expire at $8 or $10. It happens all the time, especially with weeklies. So if you have this mentality of you're expecting zero, you got it as a lot of nice. So if you're expecting zero, no big deal. The problem is really when people start leveraging a large amount of their capital in this, but it looks like you bought it as a lot of all good. Hey Gentry, how's it going? Power day? I'm not sure, Gentry. I hope so. Now that you're here, we got the Gentry juju on us, so hopefully we got some green candles on the way here. Hope your Netflix gig is doing you well. Alex says, Alex Johns, not to be confused with Alex Jones, says the Elon comment was pretty interesting as there's many employees getting hyped off the last internal call. The next few months should be interesting. The fact that he said the next few months he expects or he thinks that Tesla stock might be worth more than Apple, I just don't know. I'm just trying to think what he knows. And you could argue FSD, but I think that's checkered play. I think that's playing checkers. There's something else here that he's not talking about, or we're not talking about. That's probably in front of our eyes. Miles says, do you think Neo news are affecting Tesla as well? So I mean, Miles, you bring up a good point. When in general, when a lot of EVs, like a lot of EVs are going to trend the same way, and the reason for that often is because a lot of these hedge funds have algorithms that they trade baskets of goods in, right? So if their manager comes in and says we need to dump, we need to be less exposed to the EV industry and let's say the auto industry because of this chip shortage, we need to deleverage by 10%. Well, they just run their algorithm to sell everything. The fact that Neo is down a lot, 10%, is mostly, I think, related to the China stuff that's happening. So, but yeah, it definitely plays a part. Volume is low today. Yeah, 18 million for sure. Hey, Jan, welcome. What do you think about the April 1st 620 strike? So 620 strike, you're at the money, right? Um, you know, personally speaking, I'm sitting on my hands. I'm sitting on my hands until and you bought it for what, 20 bucks? Personally, I'm gonna sit on my hands until next week. I'm waiting for April. I'm waiting for some sort of a confirmation of buyers stepping back in, which it looks like April should bring. And I'll try to bring back this article that I read on Zero Hedge on that. But it looks like the fiscal year end for a lot of stuff is March. A lot of the selling and deleveraging should end after March. So that after next Wednesday. So it looks like I'm gonna stick true to what I've been saying for a while. I'm gonna sit tight for a little bit until March finishes up. But I'm just gonna bag hold a lot of my positions, to be honest. Griffin says, I think Citadel is liquidating their positions in Tesla since they're a top 5 holder and they're bleeding cash. That theory might actually have some sort of merit to it because Citadel is a market maker for options, and we know that no one is buying options at the moment in Tesla, or relatively speaking, very low amount of people are buying options. And the way that we measure that, obviously, as you know, is implied volatility, rank or percentile, and those are really low. And when those are low, maybe they've been sitting on a lot of shares, and that's what's been bleeding in. So yeah, it's definitely possible. It's kind of the opposite of what we've seen before, where people are buying so many call options on Tesla that market makers have to offset to buy a lot of shares in the underlying. So definitely possible. Definitely possible. So, but here's the thing: when earnings seasons comes back up in 2.5, 3 weeks here, guess what? Implied volatility is gonna rise. So everyone here that has asked me about, hey, April 1st, try to come into options chain and try to buy yourself more time. One of the biggest things that for me, I learned the hard way a lot in trading is try to have a catalyst built in, like earnings, into your options contract, because when down days happen, you don't see that dramatic of a decrease oftentimes in your options price if you have an earnings baked in. So the 23rd of April is probably not a safe bet to have earnings happen by, just in case it doesn't. So I would say April 30th chain is probably the one you want to look at, and you'll 99% kind of be safe that Tesla earnings falls into this chain. So if you're paying $20 for something at the money for April 1st, you can come in and for that same 20 buy something at 715 strike, and that buys you a whole month with earnings baked in. That's not to say you're going to hold your position for earnings, but it's the smart, prudent way to trade options sometimes. Obviously, none of this is investment advice, just something to ponder on. Okay, Chris says, mega deal with Toyota. Interesting. Chris, tell me more about that. DJ says impossible practically that it will be worth more than Apple just fooling around. See, yeah, that's true. That's true. That, you know what? Yeah, probably. But at that point, why delete the tweet then? Oh, Tommy says maybe he's gonna merge his companies. Interesting. I was thinking PSTH might be Starlink, but that's interesting. Stephanie says, or Stefan, I'm not sure. Stephanie, I'm gonna say Stephanie, says it's Tesla Energy. Interesting. Could be. SpaceX, Boring Company, Tesla, Neuralink merger. That would be nuts. Okay, got my head spinning again. All right, so let's think about this. Dave Lee on investing, great YouTube channel, has talked about, and by the way, it looks like Tesla wants to break out of these moving averages here. Tesla's at 618. Let's go. Let's hit high a day again. Tesla or Dave Lee on investing has put out the idea to Elon, and he's reiterated that it's a good idea that they should merge everything together and call it Company X. The fact that Elon tweeted probably in a few months, interesting. You guys got my head spinning again a little bit in a good way. Huh. Well, that's why he deleted it, right? Because he might get in trouble with the SEC for that, Eric. So, hey, Mike. Yeah, sure. Tesla has had a few Powerwall commercials I've seen lately. Oh, really? Interesting. I haven't seen any. I didn't know Tesla paid for any commercials. So they're pinning the street for 170K units from Tesla. So Troy Tesla, like, actually, correct me if I'm wrong. The last time I checked, I think he was at 164,000 deliveries. So beating quarter one estimates is going to be tough. That's just my opinion. Hey, in the money, how's it going? Let's see. That's a good point. Yeah. So you guys got, like, okay. Synonymous says Dojo, Auto Bidder, Dreadnought, a lot of projects, right? But you know what? The Company X got me thinking again, because if you think about it practically for a second, right? Tesla, Elon Musk says there's a greater than 0% chance that it's going to be bigger than Apple, which is, funny on its own. And then he says probably in a few months, as to kind of hint for people that are watching or listening, right? Because remember when he said Tesla stock price is too high, and he tweeted it on a certain time at a certain date that reflected a 5-to-1 split. Was it like May 1st or something? I forget. Like he does this stuff. John says, I imagine he was forced to delete tweet by his lawyers in case it could be interpreted. Oh, that's 100% why he deleted it. But I'm just wondering why he tweeted it in the first place. Griffith says, where's the speculation coming from? What sparked this? On Twitter. So I just showed Elon Musk tweeted to replying to someone saying that there's a greater than 0% chance that Tesla is going to be bigger than Apple one day. And then someone replied to him, and he replied back saying maybe probably in a few months. He didn't say it maybe in a few months. He said probably in a few months. I'll try to find it for you guys right now. It's just it's I don't know. It just got me thinking, right? And here's the thing: we've seen this before. Elon gives hints on Twitter. No one recognizes them. 6 months later, everyone's like, holy shit, if you just put 2 and 2 together, you could have written this wave. Like, this happens all the time. This could be nothing as well. Tyler says, Ivy is so low. Options premium is on fire sale at the moment. Most contracts, most ticker deltas are so low. Puts aren't even a good hedge. That's the problem, Tyler. Like, I wish I had more capital to keep rolling into some of these positions. At a certain point, like, my hands are tied at the moment, other than some capital I have left for next week. But yeah, I agree. Tesla leaps, period. Yeah, so that's really that's what we were talking about on Discord yesterday. T-Mac, one of our Discord members, shout out to you, T-Mac, again. two videos in a row. He was looking to buy March 2023 900 strike, and those can be had for 15 grand, or I think it was 16 or 17, but maybe it's 15 now. It's crazy to think, like, I couldn't, my Tesla, I think 1100 strike or 1000 strike September calls for this year were worth that much. You can buy a 900 strike, and I'll double check. I don't want to misquote this price. We're going to go to the March chain 900, 16 grand. Hey, thank you, Ferdinand. Thomas, love your podcast. What do you see stock price in 1 year? I'm kind of in agreement. Like, here's the thing: it might fluctuate higher than this, might obviously go lower than this, but I still think $1,000 by the end of the year, which is actually, now that now that price is a 40% increase from where we are, which is sounds nuts, right? The next 6 months might be a doozy, but $1,000 is kind of what I'm hopefully banking on by the end of the year. So we'll see. So, but here's the thing: like, a 900 strike March 2023 call goes for 16 grand. Like, my September 1000 strike were going for that much a couple months ago. So it's just nuts how cheap the premium is. Like here, I'll even prove it to you guys. So 1100 strike is right here. Let's copy this ticker symbol. Let's go into the charts and let's paste this in. And let's change this to the daily. So look, at the peak of what this position, this September 1100 strike was, I think it was $1,200. Yes, so it was 13 grand. This particular call option was 13 grand at a certain point. For September, far out the money this year, when you can, in fact, with your money's worth, buy yourself 2 years of the stock price, right? 2 years, like this is the furthest chain out you can buy. And at 900, which we hit 900 this year. Like we literally hit 900 this year. And you can buy that for 50, for what is it now? For 16 grand. That's kind of nuts. Like at the peak, and I'll paste that option in here. At the peak, that was worth almost 40 grand, like a month ago, 40 grand. And you're paying 15. It was literally worth 40. That's not to say it's due for a bounce up, because we could stagnate here. But at least when you buy yourself till March 2023, you buy yourself so much time. So something to think about. Here's the problem. We've sunk all our money into this. Like this would have been great if you're sitting on cash right now and you haven't invested in a while, like think about leaps. That's all I'm going to say in good companies. Johnny says leaps won't make sense yet if we have a market crash back to 400 for sure. But that's implying that we know, by the way, welcome Johnny. But that implies that we know that there's a crash coming to 400. This 200-day simple moving average sits at $530. So should we even go down that far, we're only 85 points away from that, right? And really the thing is, like that $16,000 contract, really, like how much, that $160 contract, how much more can it really fall? Even if it goes to 200-day moving average, I reckon it might be worth $100, 10 grand. Will I do some call options before market close? No, well, in my Thinkorswim, this is not really my trading account. I can't even do options on this. I just have some shares. But actually, thank you for reminding me. Today is a Friday, so I'm just gonna check to see what I have expiring on my interactive brokers. It looks like Tesla's pinned to the 616 point here. First time I've seen in a while. Tesla is going down, market's going up. What's the reason? I think it's really auto related, chip related, like people they're deleveraging off of autos for a little bit. So potentially that's some of it. We talked about how there might be a fund that's specifically selling stock. So technically it could be that. 322 live, 54 likes. Hit the like if you want. I don't care. Apparently you guys love me when I say that. Buy the dip. Once the bulls step in, Tesla fly. Well, that's the thing. I need to see more buying action. Like one of the things that worries me at the moment isn't the price of the shares. It's that we're not seeing the reclaiming from the bulls. And maybe that's just because we're in March and that's just the way it's going to go at the moment. But that's one of the things that does worry me. Is we haven't seen that buying action again. 1200 strike, Graceman says, is a no-brainer to me. Yeah. So M. Kelsey says you could buy 25 shares for 16 grand. Yeah. So exactly. But so, I mean, run the math on that, right? If Tesla goes to 900, great. You made $300 per share times 25. You made $7,500 on your 16 grand, right? So if you catch my drift, M. Kelsey is saying you can buy 25 shares of Tesla for 16 grand. Okay. If Tesla goes back to $900 and you make $300 a share from this point, you've made $7,500. In that leap that we just saw, when Tesla was at $900, it was worth 40 grand. So in that position, you just made 24 grand minus some theta because, it's been a couple months since then. So let's call it 38 grand, 37 grand. You've still made substantially more holding that leap. That insinuates, though, that you're right in the move, that it goes up. if you're wrong in the next 2 years, that's why 2 years is a long time. I mean, for a trader it is, but if you plan on holding for 15 years and you never want to check your investment account, then probably just buying shares, right? Steve says, you people can't be this stupid to ignore the economic downturn coming. There is no grand reopening. Buy some calls for 1/4 of the price in 3 months. I mean, maybe. I mean, that's what people said during COVID, that we're not going to see a V-shaped recovery. People said during COVID, the market's gone for the next couple of years. So, what matters is the Fed keeps printing money. Whether we like it or not, stuff is going to reopen. It is reopening. Certain states have fully reopened. We have vaccines that work. And I don't think anything's going to stop the human spirit from continuing to increase the velocity of money moving forward. On top of that, if you look at the M1 supply, I'll pull up the M1 supply here 1 second. That's not to say you might not be right. Who knows what's going to happen in the short run? I always say this, who knows? But that's why you buy. I mean, if you buy 2 years out, you're banking on being right. But even if you're wrong, you have 2 years, right? This is the M1 supply of money, right? This is the M1 supply of money. Or it's discontinued, this graph now, but it's the M1 supply of money. But check this out. It's just astronomical how exponential the growth of M1 supply is. It's just nuts. They created a new one here. So it's just nuts. We're sitting at literally $18,411 billion printed in the M1 supply. So it's just, so if you're saying that more money isn't going to flow around, and if we're saying that reopening might not happen, here's the thing: I'm never gonna say you're wrong and I'm right, because that's a fool's errand. I don't know as much as you don't know, potentially. But the thing is, it's odds, right? It's odds, and like someone says, who said this? Where is it? Time in the market. Brian says time in the market beats timing the market, for sure. Exactly. So that's the thing to think about here is if we're going to have massive record of money supply in the market, we're going to have reopening. Here's the thing. We're pent up. Pent up demand is everywhere. People want to fly. People want to go to restaurants when they're safe, if there aren't already. People want to go out. People are not going to hold back this summer from partying and engaging in activities that are going to lead to increasing of velocity of money. That's just my opinion. So something to think about there. David has a question. David is a member, so let's check this out. Okay, David says, new question here for options. If your leap is far out enough, couldn't you just ride out time decay even if it were to dip? Or is it more profitable by a leap after dips? Well, okay. Yes and yes. Those two things that you asked aren't mutually exclusive. So yes, it is. That's the benefit of a leap I like, is that even if you're wrong in the next couple of months, maybe even 6 months in what you're buying is 18 months or 24 months long, you could be wrong in the next little bit. You could ride that out, diamond hands it, and as long as the move happens in your direction and it happens in the next 2 years, you're going to make money on that, right? So yeah, that's my kind of general thesis about this. And yes, it's more profitable to wait after it dips, of course. But the thing is, no one can predict when the dip is going to end. That's the whole thing with the market is we kept buying the dip, but it kept dipping, right? If someone knew where the dip was, they'd make a lot more money. But that's why it goes back to the quote: time in the market beats timing the market. So yes. Let's check this out here. Tesla will ship 1 million cars this year. Nowhere it doesn't take off. Definitely possible. Double Flush, I'm so glad I found your channel. Thank you, Double Flush. What do you think about XPEV full self-driving required user interaction at less than Tesla FSDs? XPEV, Xpeng, I haven't really DD'd into too much. I just, in terms of full self-driving only, and you're talking about having to engage with your car every 60 seconds or something that I have to do. I don't know specifically on that. XPV is still small in terms of their deliveries, But if I were to bet on full self-driving in China other than Tesla, I'm going to copy Kathy and bet into Baidu. That's her bet for full self-driving in China. For sure. Exactly, Griffin. Yeah. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, you got it, David. I wish Tesla gave guidance like that. Is I 850 or something and smash it. So yeah, I mean, you can have a bone to pick with Zach Kirkhorn on sand bagging guidance. Here's the thing we have to realize though: one of the insider secrets that a lot like public companies don't have too many secrets, but one of the things that they do that is a pro tip that you should watch out for is they will often sandbag future guidance, so then the stock market can or the stock price can correct, and hedge funds and institutions can pick them up at a really low price. It's kind of those wink wink nudge nudge kind of things that they do. They sandbag guidance almost every time. They're not very optimistic publicly on their statements. That's obviously a part. It's just financial prudence and being conservative on that. But also, it's a favor to these funds that are propping them up, that are market making them. It's kind of this like unwritten agreement that they have. So if you don't know that and you go in expecting a $850,000 or a 1 million car guidance, you're gonna be like your expectations are gonna be off. But I know what you're saying. I wish they did. MCal says, but institutions have till the end of this year to retrace to the 695 S&P entry to break even for this year. So a 5% assumption is 729 minimum. Yeah, I didn't really look at it that way. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. Yeah. X-Killy, how screwed are my June 750 calls? By the way, love your chart analysis. Thank you. How screwed are your calls? Man, I feel for you because I'm bag holding a bunch of shit too. So June is, you know what? Hey, you bought June, so pat yourself on the back that you bought yourself some time there. You bought 750 strike calls. By the way, I'm gonna have to sign off soon. I have to run, but we still have 10-15 minutes here. 750 strike. So those are $30. So your break even on this in expiration in 84 days is going to be $782. Call it that. If you bought it for 31. Not sure what you bought it at now. Tesla's at a new low, 611. Yep, 610.89. Here's the good news. You have earnings baked in for this earnings, and then you also have potential incoming catalysts until the summer. So depending on what you bought it for, I'm not sure how many you bought or if you can scale off, but again, I think we're gonna have to reclaim 675 for us to see an increase or a bullish trend into Tesla again. And the money says, is there a way to check how much Japan is selling in 10-year treasuries? To my knowledge, I don't think they update it daily. But if you find somewhere that they do, we can look at that. I think the general safe assumption, though, is just assume they're going to keep dumping until the end of March. Just whatever it is, just go with that. And what we're going to do? We're going to check out Flow Algo while we're here as well. So, Flow Algo. Wow. Really quiet on the Flow Algo. Only 2 positions on Tesla today. One was a $1.9 million 630 strike put, so an at the money put at the time, bought at what is this, like 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific. A super aggressive $1.9 million sweep of those. And then like an hour ago we saw next week's expiration, a 650 call block order for 266,000. So pretty quiet. The S&P 500, we saw some dark pool prints. We have been seeing them all day, obviously. The last one, actually one just came in for 389. S&P sits at 393. Or is that? Oh, that's SPX. Hold on, let's see what the difference is. So SPY sits at 392. So someone was asking, can S&P hit all-time highs? There you go. Looking very bullish. These sweeps of these puts on SPY, I look at these as hedges, really. They're smaller size, they're put sweeps. S&P's climbing. I look at these as hedges. The Qs, nothing really much going on here. It looks like just one dark pull print so far. We'll check back at the end of the day. And then just the general market, anything aggressive. It looks like there was a signal for going long on Baidu at 190. What's Baidu at the moment? 184. Okay, that didn't work out. So it's just a quiet Friday. So okay, here's some good news to kind of to end the week on, I think. Okay, let me just check the comments. And yeah, I'll pull up the chart again. Okay, so yeah, Tesla's at a kind of at a new low, 610 for the day. So here's some goodish news to end at. We know that March is just financially speaking going to be a little bit of, and it has been, and we've been saying this for a while, a little bit of a wash, right? A flush out, a selling off, right? March isn't over yet. Obviously, March ends next Wednesday. But that's not to say that perhaps the majority of the move on the downside ends today, because today is Friday. Options expiration is today. Potentially speaking, a lot of these strategies for the end of March could be over by today's trading day. The next couple of days of March perhaps lack some buyers coming in, or maybe today's the last liquidation of their portfolio days, and early next week brings coming into new positions that have been sold off dramatically. So, think about that. April's coming through soon. Again, earnings season. If earnings season doesn't bring anything, it should bring an increase in implied volatility. Cross my fingers if that's the case. I'd be very surprised if it didn't. If it didn't, then I would probably start buying more calls. So if you're bag holding calls, just know that if you have earnings baked in, hopefully next April or this April, next month, the VIX should start climbing up. The VIX currently is sitting at $19, just a complete snooze fest on the VIX. So hopefully that starts bringing in more volatility into positions. And Tesla, DJ says has good support at 580, 590. Worst case scenario, let's go back to the daily. The 200-day moving average, if Tesla does want to retest supply or retest demand down here, the 200-day simple moving average sits at 510. So about 100 points away. I don't want to see that happen. But it looks like it's riding the moving average down at the moment. At least a 25-day moving average. So something to think about. If we zoom out for a second as well, what we've seen here, this dramatic selling off, and I'll start here, this dramatic selling off, bounce up, and then reselling off is kind of similar to what we saw in September, end of August. And I'll pull that over here. So right over there. So this is what we saw in September. Tesla, if you guys remember, did a stock split. 510 it peaked, sold dramatically off, retested supply, bounced back with the lower high, which is kind of what it's done now, and then rode back down, and then it consolidated really, as we know, until November when the S&P inclusion news came out, and then from there it was like every day for 2 months it went up. So if you want to call it exhaustion, you can call it exhaustion. If you want to call it just general market theory where there was all the buyers have piled in and now at this point it's just profit taking. The good news is the Qs are climbing. So at the end of the day, you got to hope that there's some sort of magnet pull from all technology stocks out into their downward channels, but it's still looking like downward channel play is in play. And remember, the Qs 321 now. 321 is the top of supply. The bottom of supply is 315 at the moment. That's the 25-day moving average. So keep those on your chart as well. The Qs currently sit at 312. So keep that in mind. So there's a lot there. Long story short, what this means is, like we said, chop is going to happen. But that's not to say, I think one thing we all know is that Tesla can have a 20-point day or 20% day any day on no notice. That's just what Tesla does. That's what Tesla literally did a couple weeks ago. So any day can be a good day on Tesla. It's just kind of anyone's guess. But I think this chip shortage stuff does play into the role of it. And you know what? And Elon Musk has been awfully quiet in terms of just talking a lot about Tesla other than FSD. So hopefully there's some news there. For sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Tesla's 608 at the moment. Let's pull up a graph here. So keep your eyes peeled here. Hopefully Power Hour brings some sort of good juju back into the portfolio. What would be your inflation portfolio? FTX calls. You know, I don't know. I have to think about that. My inflation portfolio is just tech, to be honest, but probably not the smartest. I'm out of the dip money. Yeah, exactly. Honestly. So down 20K for the week. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, remember when Tesla stock was climbing and we were all up, unrealized gains don't mean anything. And similarly now, unrealized losses don't mean anything. If you're holding shares, even more so, that's true. No big deal. Hold the shares. That's why I don't go tracks, as I might get a margin call now. Personally speaking, I try to not use margin ever. So that's not to say I'm better than you or anything. That's just, I know your situation might be different. But if you can stay under leveraged in times like now, and you can stay out of margin, hopefully that brings you out of water. So keep a long-term time horizon when the stock is falling. The fact that Elon said probably in a few months is interesting to me to think about for a second, because he knows something. I just, there's something there. There's something there. Shares for life. Nice. There we go, Gentry. Yeah, Tesla, it looks like 609 is really what it's at right now. Yeah, a little bit of a sell-off. Let me check out the 15-minute graph. So Power Hour, really like 616 looks like it might be a good support. If not, it probably is magnetized towards 600 as the whole level. But I'd be surprised if it stuck around at 600 for a while, but we'll see. It looks like it's putting a bottom pivot, at least on the 15-minute channel, but that might be micro analyzing it a little bit too much. So what was Elon's tweet? Tyler, it was someone said Tesla's going to be bigger than Apple, and Elon said there's a greater than 0% chance that happens. And then someone said I like the direction of your greater than sign, and he said probably in a few months. So something to think about there. Alex says, what about the Tesla profit on Twitter? Some employees out of Nevada are hyping up some big news. Yeah, I think what you're alluding to there is the Tesla app news, where actually third-party, and this could potentially be it, where third-party legacy auto companies can now use the Tesla supercharging network if they download the Tesla app and they pay through Tesla, et cetera, et cetera. So that could be totally possible. DJ says, sell my house if it drops to 500. So retail investors get left holding the bag. Yeah, and you delete it. It's okay. Yeah, it's yeah, I feel it. But remember, days like today are days where we have to realize to just shut off. Like if you don't have to manage any positions today, it's a terrible day, because the Qs are up and Tesla's down, which means that there's direct selling pressure on the equity of Tesla, and rising tides aren't lifting Tesla's boat. But that if that's true, then that means Friday. Fridays are usually bad for Tesla. Mondays are usually good. So if we see a 20% gap up day on Monday, like we saw a couple of days ago, I'm not complaining. We'll be back up to the 700 soon. So adapter plus app was tweeted now. Yeah, exactly. So something to think about there. And it looks like Tesla hopefully bottoms out here soon. So hit the subscribe if you want, hit the like if you want. Don't care. I appreciate you guys watching. That's the main thing. All 427 of you guys and girls. Thanks for joining. I'm going to probably have another video out tonight, I think. If not tomorrow. I'm trying to think about another video idea to talk about. I might do more reacting to videos that have come out that are important. People getting, like Ron Barron getting interviewed, Kathy, that sort of stuff. Let me know what type of content you guys would want. Someone's saying NASDAQ's down now. So let me know what content you kind of want there. I appreciate all you guys watching. Like today's Friday. Try to, after the market's closed, try to put your phone away. Don't look at futures. Not even gonna be up until Sunday. Don't look at anything. Don't worry about it. Tough week, tough month. But remember, April's just around the corner. Good vibes coming. Don't worry. I know we're holding the bag at the moment. That's just the way it is. All right. We hold the bag sometimes, and the last year of Tesla investing has been a rocket ship up. So, you know, like I'm fine holding the bag here, right? So it is what it is. Much love to everyone. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching, right? Don't sell is what Turbojet's saying. Yeah. Really enjoying your channel. Thanks, Eduardo. Good Juju huddle. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate that. I'll catch you guys in Discord. I'll be on Discord the rest of the day. I'm just going to jump out here. Thanks for live streaming, Kevin. Says Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, I got to come on the red days as well. It's not just it's not a fair weather day. It's not a fair weather channel. It is what it is. I think, you know, technology is what we're going to probably shift our focus on days like today. So if you want to join us on Discord, by the way, a Patreon link is in the description. Patreon.com/hitthatbid. And you can join in there on any level and get Discord access. We have a couple hundred people there pretty much at all times talking Tesla and talking other stocks. So if you want to join us on there, feel free to. You'll help support the channel. Much love to everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.